It's Friday, and you know what that means. We're answering your questions.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match of $100. With me, as always, from Vegas, is not always from Vegas, but always with me. My co-host, Brian McKean. Brian,
I wish it was.
You wish it was every Friday
from Vegas. Oh my God, it would be great if it was every day from Vegas. No, I don't live my life like this every single day. But weirdly enough, I'm getting the morning kick because it's early where I am right now. It's like 9:45, but it doesn't feel like it's 9:45. I feel like it's
Right.
noon, so I'm wide awake. I have a whole day ahead of me. Going to the Vegas Golden Knights game tonight, which is right across the street from where the Las Vegas A's will play one day. So very excited. Very excited.
And it's your second Fanmail Friday. Are you psyched?
So I'm more excited about second Fanmail Friday than I am about the Vegas trip, believe it or not. I'm very, very stoked for this. Let's get into it.
Okay, as usual, insider questions go first. And as always, Betty is our first question because Betty is the woman. Good job, Betty. Okay. Is it time to give Gleyber's increasingly worrisome play in the field some serious attention, or do you think we let him work through whatever this is? I've always loved him, but beginning to feel like he lacks baseball smarts or is getting flustered when the ball comes his way.
I would disagree with that. I don't think he lacks baseball smarts, and for whatever reason, I think Gleyber gets a bad rap with Yankee fans. I don't know why, but there is a lazy element to his game. He has I wouldn't use the word lazy. You know what I would use? And I'm going to make up a word here, but I think all Yankee fans will understand where I'm coming from. He has a very Cano-like way to playing his game. It's very Robinson Cano-like, except Robinson Cano was a generational talent who could make his game look lazy, but it wasn't actually lazy.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Gleyber has a lot of that element to his game, but he doesn't have the same level of, he just doesn't work it as well as Cano did.
He's not as smooth as Cano. Cano was so smooth.
Exactly. That's the best word to use, is smooth. I would not be worried about Gleyber. To me, Gleyber is the same thing like you said with Judge yesterday, Stacey. Gleyber's proven himself enough, and he gets a little more leeway because he's been here for 5 years. He's played really well. He's put up some great seasons, and he was a Gold Glove finalist 2 years ago. So I don't consider Gleyber as bad of a defender as most Yankee fans do. So I'm not going to sit here and be concerned yet. It is worrisome the bad start that he's gotten off to, but again, I think what it is got off to a bad start. He was making good contact, and then the numbers weren't there, and then now he's pushing a little too much. So you need off days for him. I would actually consider giving him an off day this weekend. Just let him sit back, relax, play a little bit, and then let him get back into it, and let him get a little bit of a mental reset. But I'm not overly concerned with Gleyber, and I think he gets a little leeway.
Right. I agree with that. I agree with all of that, actually. Yeah.
Stacey, next question comes from Glenn. He says, "Hello, Stace. My question is with Judge, and is he hurt?"
Well, we discussed this on Thursday's show, that it may just be a lingering from the injury, just because he didn't have as many at-bats in spring training and he just needs to get going a bit. I don't really think he's hurt because he doesn't look like he's doing anything weird with his swings, he's swinging like he normally does. It's just, I don't know if it's timing. I don't know what it is, but he needed that.
They're not DHing him. They're not DHing him either. They're not DHing him either. They're not giving him rest. I have to feel like at this point, if he was hurt, he would say something.
Right.
At least to Boone.
Right. Because if he were hurt, I don't think they'd have him playing in the field so much. So that's a good sign that he's not. I really just think it's timing. And I think he just needs to get it going. And once he does, because, when he gets on that roll and he starts hitting, he's almost unstoppable. He can go on a 2-month streak of hitting. So, which is so much fun to watch.
It is when he's hitting home runs every day and he's hitting them in the 400s. What I do need to mention too is we have experienced players like this that were frustrating and often people thought were hurt. I mean, Mark Teixeira. I mean, he's the perfect example of a player that Mark Teixeira every year of his Yankee career got up to a slow start. He didn't go until late May every single year.
Yeah, that was his thing.
Literally, it was his thing. He did not get going until late May every single year. And it was frustrating and it was annoying. And every Yankee fan questioned, is he hurt? Is he done? Is he this or that? And he figured it out. Like, I would say the same thing about Rizzo. Yankee fans keep questioning Rizzo, whether he's hurt, whether he's not, whether he still has the concussion. You got to give guys, we're 3 weeks in. It's a 162 game season, right? I mean, it's a 5-month marathon. It's not a quick, I mean, I think we get into this struggling pattern a lot because a lot of baseball fans are also football fans and everything, and the games mean more in football, right? You play 17 games, they're short, and it's so concise, and you lose 2 games in a row and your season can be off the rails.
Yep.
It's not the same thing in baseball. The best teams of all time lose 60 to 70 games a year. So you have to kind of, like, Judge may be hurt. He may still have that lingering injury. I'm not saying he's not. But when you look at everything, like the season trajectory, it's 3 weeks. Guys struggle. If Judge struggled like this for 3 weeks in the middle of June, you wouldn't say anything.
Right.
So you have to take it with a grain of salt.
This is a perfect segue into the next question from Insider Kyle. Losing 3 games in a row and losing the series to the Blue Jays, it's not the end of the world, but how can Yankee fans be assured that the team will stay competitive going into May?
His name's Garrett Cole. Yeah. They're going to get Garrett Cole back. And with what the starting pitchers have not done, which is go deep into games and give them room, Garrett Cole will do. Garrett Cole has that in him. Garrett Cole will give you 7-8 innings every single start. He's guaranteed for that. So I think Garrett Cole right now, I mean, let's put it this way, Stacey. If they were going into the deadline, late July, and they were needing a piece, with the way the team is currently presently constructed, what would you say they need the most? You would say they need a starter who can eat innings. They need, weirdly enough, not current day, but what weirdly enough they need is a J Happ, right? A guy who's going to go out there and give up 3 runs and just chomp up innings and save the bullpen on a Wednesday in July when it's 100 degrees outside and you don't have to use 8 bullpen relievers. They need a guy like that. Now, Garrett Cole is J Happ times 50 because he gives you 7 innings and 0 runs. But my point is they need an innings eater. You're going to get that. You're going to get one of the best innings eaters in the history of baseball. So getting him back is going to be huge for you. And then you see what you need. Like that's what the best part about this time of year is too. You kind of can judge the way the roster is constructed and see what you need come July.
Now, I just want to say the one thing, the part of that question that made me laugh was, how can Yankee fans be assured that the team will stay competitive going into May? This is the first bad stretch that they've had.
Yeah.
And don't expect them to look that bad all the time, but also don't expect them to look as good as they look the first week and a half. There will be flashes of both throughout the season. Everything's okay.
They're not going to break the wins record.
Right.
They're not going to win 120 games.
They're also not going to lose 120 games either.
Yeah, they're not. To be honest with you, I can pretty much assure you they're not going to be as bad as they were last year either.
Right.
They have Juan Soto in the middle of the lineup. If they avoid injuries, they're not going to be as bad as they were last season. They're going to be just right in the middle of the pack where everyone else is, and there'll be games where they listen. If they go on a toot for 10 in a row coming up, you're going to love them again. And you're going to talk World Series again. And if they lose the next 7 of 10, we're going to be talking like doomsday next Fanmail Friday. You have to stop being so reactionary when it comes to baseball because again, it's a long season. We're not even through April yet. If they're struggling, I'll tell you this, Kyle. If they're struggling like this come June, come back to us and give us another question, and we'll have different answers for you. But when it's this early on, I can't sit here and claim the sky is falling when it's so early on in a really, really long season.
Right.
It just is. Stacey, let's get to the last question of segment 1 right here. I noticed in today or yesterday's game that the Jays are pitching to Volpe up in the zone. I think the word is getting around that he is laying off and or hitting the low pitches. I know we are not hitting coaches, but what minor adjustments do you think he can make? And that's Ruben commenting on Wednesday's game. What do you think?
I don't know anything about that stuff. I really don't. I've never hit a baseball. You don't want me to try and hit a baseball. I'm blind in one eye. Like that just wouldn't work. I think whatever minor adjustments he needs to make, he will make because he's proved it so far this season that he is, like he has good games, he has bad games, but he doesn't get into a stretch where he keeps having bad games, Like you'll see Volpe go from having an 0 for 4 game and then hitting 4 for 4 the next game. I think whatever adjustments he needs to make, he'll make.
I said this a few days ago too, and it still holds true. This happens a lot in baseball. Young player gets off to a great start, and then the book on him comes out of what does he not like to hit? Where does he not like to be pitched? Where is he not comfortable? It's the same thing with pitchers, right? Like, what count do you want to get a young pitcher? We're going to see Jack Leiter get his first start later on today. And it's in a couple minutes, actually. And it's the same concept, right? He could be great today and go crazy today. And then guys are going to figure out what pitches does he not like to be forced into throwing? What counts does he not comfortable in? And then it's about Leiter. The great players are the ones who fix those mistakes, who correct those mistakes, and are able to keep adjusting. But you talk to the best athletes of all time, and they'll all tell you it's about adjustments. It's constantly adjusting and adjusting and adjusting. That's what Volpe will do. So the book will come out on Volpe this year that he's struggling with the high fastball. And then he'll learn to lay off that pitch. And then he'll start struggling with the slider away. And then it's the same thing. It happens with every single athlete. You have to have faith as a Yankee fan or as a Volpe fan that he's going to work with the hitting coaches and he's going to figure it out. The concern that you have is if it goes all year and he can't hit the high fastball.
Right.
If it goes, but if he can figure this out in a week, he can figure it out in a month. It's all about adjustments in pro sports. So you have to get yourself into that mindset that Volpe will be able to make the adjustment and figure it out. But this is how baseball works. So I would not be concerned about this at all.
I agree. I do. I agree. He'll be fine. Yeah, he'll be fine. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. And if you want to be a part of Fanmail Friday next week, reply to the pinned comments on our videos from Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description, and it isn't only for Fanmail Friday. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions. You can text us comments. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's a lot of fun. Coming up next, answering more of your Yankee questions.
Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose with FanDuel Sports. I'll tell you a bet that I like coming up this weekend. I like the Phillies in this series against the White Sox. The White Sox have been off to an awful start. They're going to be one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. In our Locked On power rankings, the White Sox actually were the worst power ranked team in baseball. I like the Phillies parlayed with the New York Rangers to beat the Washington Capitals in Game 1 at Madison Square Garden later on this weekend. There is a vibe with the New York Rangers where this is the time to get things done. And the Washington Capitals with the worst goal differential in NHL history to make the postseason, combined with the Phillies to beat the White Sox, great series parlay. And you're going to get the best odds on that when you visit FanDuel Sportsbook. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN like me on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can catch the Hometown Yankees broadcast on SiriusXM. Download, ready, Stace? The SiriusXM app or the SXM app and search the word Yankees. We learned yesterday that Stacey was not comfortable with saying SXM directly after each other.
I actually cut that out of the episode because it was so embarrassing for me that I didn't keep it in.
I'm gonna make that come back to life, so people have to relive that part of it. First question of segment 2, Stacey. Should the Yankees make a humongous offer to Soto right now? If you can keep him, then the Martian, and somehow Jones fits in here with Yankee fans, but we're gonna keep going with it. With Judge moving to DH, are you set for a decade? Stacey, what do you think? Because this is a a loaded topic.
Okay, by the way, that question's from Eric S., one of our insiders, because the insiders ask so many questions that they've leaked into segment 2. It's amazing this week.
Sorry about that, Eric.
Speaking of The Martian, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm wearing an Area 161 t-shirt that RotoWear made, and I bought it the morning before we found out that Dominguez hurt his Tommy John. No, hurt his UCL and had to get Tommy John. Well, no, because he's not gonna. They're not gonna accept an offer now. He'll want to explore free agency.
Yeah,
obviously
he did. Boris did. He did say at a Yankee meeting that, like, he said Cashman's got Boris's number and everything, and he does. But Boris is notorious for letting his guys go to free agency, and this might be the biggest free agent contract one of his employees ever signs. So if you don't think that Juan Soto is going to test free agency at this point, you're crazy. The thing the Yankees need to do and the Yankee fans need to do, ingratiate yourself with Juan Soto as much as humanly possible this season and make him fall in love with the Bronx, where there's no exploring to be done. Right. Make the season end. Right. Ideally, let the season end. Let the parade end. And then Juan Soto wants to sign a new contract at the end of the parade.
He'll explore, but
exactly. Like let it be, numerous other let it be Derek Jeter exploring free agency.
Right.
Remember the year Derek Jeter explored
or
free
even
agency?
Aaron Judge.
No, yes, exactly. Well, Judge did. I think Judge did consider going other places. I think he wanted to be a Yankee, and he's going to say that. But I think he did listen to other offers. Make it be to the point where Soto has nothing else to consider.
No, I knew Judge wasn't going anywhere when he was in a 45-minute intervals and arms class on Peloton with his wife. And they made it a point to point him out. And I was on the bike going, he's not leaving. They don't have Peloton studios in San Francisco. He's staying in New York. It's fine.
It's just, listen, and here's the thing, too. Soto is going to get one of the largest contracts in Major League history. I think it'll be below Ohtani, but it'll be just below Ohtani, right? So it's going to be, I don't even know if 10 years holds it because he's 25 years old. It's probably going to be more like a 13-year deal, honestly.
Right.
Which I'd be fine with. It takes him to 38 years old. And
this is the one time you're fine with a deal that long, because when you see other teams give like 29-year-olds like 12-year deals, and you're like
Harper got a 13-year deal at 27. Yeah. That one was a little more concerning. But you know what? Soto could still walk at 38 years old. So I'll have no problem with a 13-year deal. And I think it's going to be 13 years, somewhere in the $600 to $650 million range. Yep. And the Yankees won't have a problem with playing in that proverbial ballpark. They will be okay with that. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be, as long as the offer is remotely close to another team that's after Soto, and he wants to be here.
Right.
And then I think you'll be fine. So I would give him a humongous offer now. Yeah, I would do that. Is he going to take it? I highly doubt that.
Right. Next question is our last from our insiders, from Chris L. Hey, Brian and Stace, any worries about Rizzo with his errors so far this season? 4 in 16 games so far, and I'm not mistaken, he only had 3 last year. I'm a bit concerned about Rizzo just because some of the plays that he's missing are plays that he normally wouldn't miss at all. There was one play in the Wednesday game against Toronto that he muffed when Stroman was still in the game, and you could see it on his face. Rizzo, he was just like, how the hell did that even happen? So I'm a little worried about him. Do I think he's going to be like this all season? No, but I am concerned about Rizzo.
Rizzo's also a proverbial Gold Glover, right?
Yeah,
he's one of the best. That's where I'm concerned. If Rizzo was an average glove his whole career, it wouldn't bother me. I'd be like, you know what? He's just gotten off to a sluggish start. It happens. Rizzo's one of the better fielders in all of baseball. And that's the part that concerns me, is he's making uncharacteristic plays. He's gotten more errors this year so far than he has had in most of his career. So that's where in a year, that's where I'm a little concerned with it. I'm not really concerned overall with his game like people want to be because of the injury last year. I think that's reaching a little bit. Where I'm concerned is, again, like, this is a little too much fielding error and a lot of the at-bats at the plate, too. You're seeing him get really lost in some at-bats. You got to give it time, though, like we said earlier in the episode. Like, it is concerning to an extent. I'm a little more concerned with Rizzo just because of the injury last year. It was a concussion that it was undiagnosed, and he kept playing through it. That gives me a little more worrisome, but I wouldn't be overly concerned yet.
Right.
Stace, next question comes from FJE6902. He says, looking at things objectively, is the bullpen the Yankees' weakness? Not at all.
The starters.
Yeah, I think
right now
it's the
starters. The bullpen is having a problem because the starters can't last more than 5 innings, and they're just pitching too much.
No, the bullpens, I think, have been terrific, to be honest with you. Clay Holmes has one blown save, but he's been really good throughout the entire year. You've gotten a lot of production out of this bullpen. So, and also, too, if the bullpen was a struggle, the one place where I have no doubt Cashman can fix in the middle of the season is in the bullpen.
It's the bullpen.
Like, say what you want about Brian Cashman, he knows how to handle his bullpen, like better than any GM in the history of baseball. So the bullpen almost is never a concern of mine. Really, I genuinely mean that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay. I had answered this question a few weeks ago, but from NYY Hulkamaniacs. Hey, Brian, what would your walk-up song be? Now, just to let everyone know, in case you didn't watch that episode, it was a Fanmail Friday from a few weeks ago. Mine would be A View to a Kill by Duran Duran, because it's one of my favorite Duran Duran songs, and the beginning of the song is so good that I would strut up to the plate.
I like that. Full disclosure with all of our fans out there, I am an avid rock and roll fan. Like I am classic rock, modern rock, everything from 1960 to 2025, which is in the future coming out. I love rock music. Everything from heavy metal to soft rock to everything about it is what I love. So my favorite song to walk up to would be Diamond Eyes by Shinedown. If you guys haven't heard it, I would listen to it. Shinedown's more of a modernish. They write the song Second Chance that everybody knows. But they write a lot of modern day rock. They kind of got popular in the early 2000s, and they're still kicking today. They're still playing one of the best live concert shows you could ever go to. And Diamond Eyes would be my ultimate walk-up song. It starts off slow, but it comes right in and hits you heavy. It would honestly be more perfect for if I was coming out of the bullpen. Like, I think Enter Sandman is one of the greatest, songs that Mariano had. The way better than stupid trumpets playing. So I love Diamond Eyes by Shinedown. If you need to listen to the song, go listen to it and feed me in the comments of what you think, because it is the perfect walk-up song in my opinion.
So you say you like all rock. Do you like yacht rock?
Yacht rock, not as much, but I'll bear it. It's everything though from cheesy 80s rock. Nice. I like 60s, 70s, heavy metal, Metallica. I love. It's just 90s. I'm huge on like Green Day, Weezer, Blink-182, Rage Against the Machine. Like all of that. It encompasses all of it. I'm not just a one era rock fan. It's all of it.
Very nice. I saw Metallica during the Black Album tour, so I saw them perform.
So that's where I'm jealous of. I've made it a point in my life to get to every major concert, like a band that comes around, because you don't know when you're going to get to see them again. So I've made it a point to say that I can see those bands, because I want to tell my future kids, like I saw Aerosmith, I saw Metallica, and I've seen most bands that I wanted to see, but I am jealous of those concerts. Like I'm jealous of the one, like you going to Metallica on the Black Album. My parents' first date was Van Halen on the 1984 tour. Like,
nice.
Yeah, exactly. So my friend's dad's first concert was Kiss with Queen opening up in 75 at the Garden. So yeah, like I'm jealous of those type of concert experiences.
My first concert was U2 Joshua Tree tour, 1987.
Wow. I mean, you can't beat stuff like that. Mine was Bon Jovi Central Park 2008 for the MLB All-Star Game concert.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I've seen Bon Jovi like 5 times.
Yeah, me too. Now that I'm a New Jersey native, I actually live in Sayreville, the home of John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you sign a contract. You're like, no, you have to listen to Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen, or you can't live in the state.
Me and my girlfriend are now avid Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi fans because we live in Sayreville. I think we signed it in the lease.
Okay, coming up next in segment 3, we have more questions. You guys were so great this week, so thank you so much. So we'll do that next. Baseball season is officially underway, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from baseball and basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick LeBron, Shohei Ohtani, Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, and Jude Bellingham, all in the same entry. Prize Picks is the best way to get action or sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this baseball season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a $100 first deposit match. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available in the free Fire TV Channels app. So we're up to our final questions. Again, good job, guys. You did really well this week. There were a lot of them. I actually had to cut some out, so I apologize if I didn't get to your questions. There were some repeats, too, where people asked similar questions, so I just chose certain ones. This one is from Cam6527 on YouTube. Hey, Stacey and Brian, or hi, Stacey and Brian. I can read. I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's a baseball game or a baseball video game called Super Mega Baseball 4 that has rosters made up of Baseball Hall of Famers and baseball media personalities, John Boy, Joe's McFly, etc. So my question is, if you were asked to be in the next game, what position would you play and what would your best attribute be? Power, contact, fielding, etc. Or what would your best pitch be?
Wow. So I've never even considered being able to be in a video game. That would be awesome if they could put media members in a video game. I would be a pitcher. I pitched in high school. I pitched all the way up into men's league and stuff. And I've got a weird, wonky, like lefty delivery. So I had a really good cutter two-seam action, I guess, if you want to call it, where one pitch would go into you and one pitch would go away. And this two-seam, which was impressive for me, was I didn't have to throw it any unnatural way. It was just a regular two-seam grip, but because of the lefty delivery, I kind of had I didn't come over the top like a normal righty did. I kind of came on the side. So my two-seamer really ran. That would be my combination. I didn't have crazy good velocity, but I can make the ball move with my two-seamer. So that would definitely be mine.
You wouldn't want me to play because I have bad knees and I'm blind in one eye. But I think if I could pitch, because, pitchers don't hit anymore, I would be the type of pitcher to throw an eephus pitch all the time because that's how I shoot garbage into the garbage can. Just whoop, with high arc and everything. And I'm actually really good at that. I played lacrosse in high school. Yeah, like knuckleballs, like stuff like that. I played wiffle ball with my guy neighbors when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm good at that too. But when I played lacrosse, I was really good at not catching the ball because I refused to wear glasses, but throwing it to my teammates, no matter how far or close they were to me. So I feel like I could be a good pitcher, but I'd have tricky pitches.
Put us in the game. I'd love that. Hey, Stacey and Brian, my question is, will the Yankees trade Gleyber Torres at the trade deadline or end of the season? That's at user-NC2KR4BH5J. My eye doctor is very proud of me right now because I read that really
That
fast.
is someone who doesn't have an actual name on YouTube. They didn't change it. They're just like, all right, I'll keep this.
But his tag is a J, so I guess we'll call him Jim Bob for now.
Okay.
So Jim Bob, I don't think they're trading Gleyber. They can't trade him at the end of the season because he'll be hitting free agency.
Right.
I don't think there's any chance they're going to trade Gleyber. I don't think there's any way they'd move him. I don't think they'd trade him. I don't think there's any chance. They need a second baseman. They don't have one. They're not going to play DJ there full time because they can't trust him to stay healthy. I got to be honest with you. I don't think there's any chance they move him.
Right. I would agree with that. Next question, Mr. Mallory 94. What do you think happens to Cabrera when DJ and Peraza return?
Unfortunately, I think he plays even less than he's played this year so far. And
I
I
hope
hate to
not.
admit that. So do I.
I really hope not. He was, he got hits from both sides of the plate on Wednesday. He's doing everything they asked him to do, and it seems as if they're going to take him out and he's going to lose all that momentum. And then when they bring him back in for a random game on a Wednesday afternoon and he goes over 4, people are going to get angry with him. It's like,
Don't be wrong. We are both avid Cabrera fans, but they don't seem to have any appetite to play him. That's the best way I could put it. I think the organization handles their prospects really well, and overall, I generally trust them with the handling of their prospects. But they don't like Cabrera. I don't know what the reason is for it. I can't get. We gave you our best educated answer last week. I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know why they don't like Cabrera, but they don't. So I don't think. No, I think he plays far less. To be honest with you.
I did like that Boone said they weren't going to move Volpe out of the leadoff spot when DJ came out. Like he actually made it a point to say that, which I was shocked about because, in like December, Boone was like, DJ's our leadoff hitter. So I'm glad that Volpe's play made him change his mind. I'm kind of hoping Cabrera's play will make him change his mind about, I don't find a problem with DJ playing third at any point, but I don't think that they need to make it so Cabrera plays 1 game a week, which is what's going to happen.
Exactly. So. Let's go to at Airs 8127. I remember the end of the 2022 season when the Yankees moved Judge from the 2 spot to the leadoff spot, and he struggled a bit. Do you think that because they moved him in the order again that has affected his gameplay last night? No, not at all. Judge has been playing the 2 hole for the last 2 years, I feel like, full time, and it's statistically it does show it's the best spot for your best hitter to play because he's going to get the most at bats in the 2 hole. Now they have him in the 3 hole. If you're a traditional baseball fan, you'll like him in the 3 hole, right? That's where your best player generally hits, or the 4 hole. I have no problem, and I don't think Judge has a problem with where he's batting. I think he's just honestly off to a slow start. And I think best advice, we all need to sip a cocktail and relax a little bit. It's not like he can be struggling for 3 weeks. It's fine. If he did this in July, no one would realize it. It's just the fact that it's early on in the season.
Plus, he's in the 3 hole because Juan Soto's in the 2nd spot.
Because, and I will stick by this. He's in the 3 hole because modern day Ted Williams is in the 2 hole.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Guys, one more time before the end of the week, we don't forget to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. That's how you get your questions for sure right on here early on in the first 2 segments because our insiders have gone up so much. There's a link in the description below and a 14-day free trial. You get texts from us, and you can text us questions for Fanmail Friday. And if you don't want to join the Insiders Club, you can leave comments under our videos on YouTube and leave your questions for Fanmail Friday under the pinned comments on our videos Monday through Thursday. But it's for sure that we'll see your question and we'll get it up if you are one of our insiders. You can catch the Hometown Yankees broadcast on SiriusXM by downloading the SXM app and searching for Yankees. Stacey, you want to tell them what's coming up next week?
SXM. See? I just said it. Okay, maybe I'll be able to do it next week. That'll be coming up next week. Also coming up next week, recapping the series against the Rays, previewing the 4-game series against the A's. They're going from the Rays to the A's. And of course, we'll be updating you about what's happening on the farm for Miners Monday. And this time, we're giving Hudson Valley some love on Monday because they had a good week and we're going to talk about it. So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We're going to see you next week.